So we are Pistols at Dawn. The band was started in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm John. I'm the singer. That's Will. And that's the guitarist.
I'm Will.
That's
For me, he's that.
Gabe. That's the bassist. The band was started by our drummer Adam. And a fun fact would be that how I joined the band was they found me on TikTok.
My fun fact is I joined by Craigslist.
And I guess my fun fact is that I was John's +1. So I was just like, you can bring a guest. And I was like, cool, I can play the bass maybe. So now I'm here. And we just all found our way into this band through the most unlikely of methods, but here we are.
Ooh, the band a partner or what?
I was like, we have a part 1 and like a part 2 of what our like sound is like, and we're obviously moving in a different direction. So you can go ahead, John. Go ahead.
The current band, what I would describe it as just a ball of energy. If you've ever seen us perform live, that's what we are. That's what we love being on stage. We love making music. That's what we love doing. And the sound, I've heard it being described as Dayseeker mixed with early 2000s metal.
Interesting.
So, yeah,
It's all over the place, honestly.
it's really all over the place. I don't think we get, like, especially with this album that we wrote and recorded last year, it's kind of all across the board. We can't really pin down a genre because we bend it so often. Like, and from our last couple of releases, it's been, Not Sorry, which has like the very pop chorus, and then like goes into something like You Forever, which is just straight up romantic ballad. And then all nostalgia in bones of like reminiscent of like pop punk, of like the pop punk days. So yeah, I say Dayseeker mixed with early 2000s metal is definitely.
I mean, our mission very much is to like, that nowadays we see genre blending being such a like big thing, and like the biggest bands are the ones who can really take from different types of styles, like Falling in Reverse or a bunch of other bands that I could totally name right now, but I won't. But yeah, and we see that as something that's really interesting and should be explored more. And I love how artists nowadays are not being so confined to their genre sometimes and being allowed to express themselves in different ways. And even artists are like genre like bending, and we've seen that the last couple years. So yeah, we're just kind of everywhere. But we like a good rock song, but we like to just mess it up in as many ways as possible, and that's what we do.
It's pretty cool getting to sit back and analyze it and not be able to compare ourselves to anything else. It's kind of a neat feeling because it really is its own thing. And it's a lot of fun getting to go on stage and play this stuff for people.
When I hear people say Not Sorry is their favorite, I'm almost like shocked. I'm like, no way, it can't. It's not. I'm a Bones like believer. Like it's that's like the one I'll call them like in the middle of the day. I'll be like, dude, that's such a good song. I don't know how that came out of. Like sometimes I'll just freak out. I get so in my feelings about the stuff we write, and so I'm glad that's your favorite.
Yeah, I love it.
Ooh,
so difficult. There's so many.
My God, there's so many. Like, I keep leaning in on this joke, and I've said it a couple of times, and the guys might like roll their eyes, but we're all very polyamorous, so we love like literally all genres of music. So you just gave us like an entire field of everyone to choose from. Like if I had to say, who's my favorite artist and I'd want to have on a feature, I'd be like, Sleep Token, like have Vessel rip like a verse somewhere. But I feel like if all time, like having a crazy Van Halen solo would just tickle Will's fancy.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm like an 80s child. So I'm still new to the world of all the the new metalcore and modern pop punk bands and all that stuff, which I've loved getting to know. But yeah, my heart lies in the 80s still.
I feel like a good cross section between the three of us, though, and even Adam, it's just Linkin Park. Like I think that might be the really cool one that we would want to get together and do something
like
with.
Like in this day and age where they're now like they're back, they're here, they're doing their thing, they're a titan in the industry, like especially for rock. Like it would be so cool to work with them because I'm an electronic kind of guy. I love electronic music, and it doesn't have to be straight up like dance music, but electronic of all types, Justice and Daft Punk and all those things are like what I love the most. But I guess if I could choose like Falling in Reverse, can we also get a $6 million music video to be on? Because that would be also kind of cool. That'd be kind of crazy. So
I feel like it's not 100% fair for us to be answering that question because like Gabe and I have only been in the band for like 2 years. Will's been in the band for a little longer than us, 3 years. I mean, you gotta love what you do. Like, first of all, you gotta love everything about it. And because it's not just about making the music, it's not just about writing, it's not just about performing. You have to be social media savvy. You have to be constantly posting and consistent, and then practice all the other stuff in the meantime as well. I mean, Gabe and I were in another band for like 10 years together, and we've gone through the ringer of like burnout and just being like, why is this not working, or why is something not working? And a lot of the times it's just timing, but it's consistency and just loving what you do and loving every facet of it. I think definitely that.
Couldn't agree more. You gotta love it. Gotta love it. It's the best thing in the world.
It also helps to just like, we're all so driven about it. And I think like Adam is just always like hungry for more. Like, I'll speak for him. Like, he, if something's not working, he's like, all right, something's got to change. And sometimes I'm the type to be like, well, like, trust the process. Let's see how it works. Let's just keep on doing what we're doing. But he's just like always looking towards the next thing. And what's the next thing we can do? If that's not happening, we'll go through this. If that's not happening, we'll go through that. And I think that's important to have someone who's always like eye on the prize every day. Because then you're never standing still.
It's such a collaborative effort between everybody. And you hit the nail on the head with everybody being in sync and pushing each other.
I mean, we love hanging out with each other. Like, after our last show that we did in Vegas, we all went to the Sphere together and just watched the show, and we're all just going crazy, and then walked back to the hotel from there, had tacos at like 2 a.m. It was great. Awesome.
Great hangs.
It's all for the hangs.
Yeah. Especially on stage, they can see the chemistry, and they can really see if you guys actually like each other or not.
Oh, yeah.
Life. I mean, definitely. It's for all of us. I feel it's been like reoccurring themes, but I think for everyone that has ever been in a relationship, especially in this day and age where, our parents' baggage become our baggage, the past's baggage becomes our baggage. Like, it's just how it is. It's like you find someone and you both take on the world together. And especially us as like alternative music, rock music, not always part of the mainstream. I mean, when I was in high school, the popular stuff was more like EDM and rap and hip hop, and the rockers are kind of seen as like the outcasts. And I think that's true for a lot of the people that listen to this kind of music, and finding each other after being cast out by the rest of the world, and finding each other and kind of healing each other and going forward together. That's the true essence of the song.
I think it's funny because we were writing all those songs. Like, there are some that are clearly more like from a certain person's point of view. Like, some of them where we come together and it's like, oh, this is kind of like a conjoined idea of what we have. Like, Obsession is definitely like, and all of us, we feel that kind of thing. But then like Not Sorry was straight up like asking me questions about my previous
relationship.
And then we're like,
and they were like,
Gabe,
keep going.
What was that
Keep
going. You played? And then like that kind of happens. And then they add their magic. We keep going. But Bones was one of those that definitely came from all of us, because we're describing this imaginary person who actually doesn't perfectly exist. It's just like bits and pieces from our own life that don't really conjoin to anything. But in the end, we just wanted to get the message across of like, that heartfelt feeling of finding someone in this imperfect world, how hard it is to find something anyway. How we're all
relatability.
We're all just, hurt in our own ways and just trying to find love and everything. And yeah, that's why we really think we came together at that one and created one of like the best songs in the album.
Gabe,
Gabe.
Wait,
I don't know
Gabe.
which way he is.
Wow. It's true.
I actually feel like the most chaos comes from the three of us together.
Yeah, true. It is. At some points where like Adam is like, oh my God, what's
like,
going on?
It's just a conglomeration of
feed
crazy.
Off each other. Usually Gabe's the most out of pocket one, I feel, in some aspects, where he'll just go and do something randomly, but then like it takes like half a second for Will and I to like jump in on it. Like, he jumped on a suitcase while we were on tour in Europe, and then Will started like passing him back to our driver, or to me. No, it was me and our driver. We started passing him back and forth on the suitcase, and our driver started filming, and like Will pushes him, and Gabe just goes whoop, falls
Yeah.
in the middle of the lobby.
I don't know.
Like,
Made the
sprawled
loudest
out.
sound.
When we're out on tour, it's just like it's finally able to just like experience like, you know, I only ever had an older sister who was like 7 years older than me. So like I never had like brothers like that for real. So like now we get to go out and I get to just, even if I'm like 7 years older than Will, like I'm just absolutely, when we're out here, I'll think later. I'm never going to get in that much trouble, hopefully. But you know, like we're going out, we're just living life, and I just don't want to like hold back. And as long as I don't hurt anybody, that's kind of how I am. I'll just say weird things, do weird things. But yeah, I kind of just live unapologetically like that. And these guys always either question me or feed into it, and it's really easy when they just keep, you know, playing into it.
It's really cool. I was going to say,
go.
it's really cool too going on tour because we put in the most amount of work when we're not on tour, like, you know, practicing and putting all our effort to the social media and everything. So when we go out on tour, we've already done all that super hard work to prep for this. So it's like it all just comes out, like Gabe was saying. Like it's like, okay, now it's time to have fun, and you know we've prepared for this. We know what we're doing. You know, we're just gonna have a blast, and that's when all the chaos comes out when we get comfortable.
That's why some people just think, like, they always ask me like, Gabe, why? And I'm like, why not, dude? I can just, you know, just live a little bit. Who cares?
Yeah, or will we randomly like just grab a pillow the moment we get into a room and just full force just throw it at Gabe.
Throw it full force.
One time he like
I think it's repressed anger.
It is. It's my hidden emotions.
Yeah, because Will doesn't get angry at anything. That smile that he has on his face right now is the same smile we have all the time.
Yeah, he's
So-
just
I'm always
he's
happy,
special.
man. I'm always happy.
Staying healthy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Probably like a mixture of like staying healthy and just like keeping yourself like, I mean it goes back to health, but like just eyes on the prize. Like I said, we like to have fun and we like to do things, but I guess sometimes for us, like we don't go out and party. We don't do anything crazy. We are straight up, you know, like from here to here, let's go to sleep well, wake up, take care of ourselves, go to the gym when we can, eat good food, make sure we have water. Like our rider is just like a case of water, please. like we just want a hydration. Like we don't need anything else crazy. Like probably the biggest thing.
So true.
I think staying healthy, and it's hard. It's hard when you're lack of sleep, you're jet lagged, you're sleeping in the van or you're sitting in a van for most of the day. So that's why we pretty much put an emphasis on like working out and stretching and, you know, eating healthy foods, making sure at least that part of it is in our control. I think maybe the hard part is just sometimes keeping that eye on the prize, because it gets hard. It gets, you know, you start missing home, you start missing certain aspects, and as long as you keep it as like, hey, this is what I love to do, this is what I want to do, like we do these shows every single day, like you get through it. Yeah,
because also if you're not taking care of yourself, then you're not performing at the top of your ability. And it's like one of those things, you've seen it with some bands where I've caught them at the beginning and then at the tail of their end, like at the end of a tour, and you can tell that they're tired. You can tell that they've like, and I don't blame them sometimes, like it happens to be that way, but I mean, we make sure that we walk. When we're home, we're running. When we take care of ourselves, we're energized. We make sure we have protein bars and we're making ourselves going. We're not getting hungover. We're not doing anything like that because we want to make sure we perform every night at the top of our ability, you know?
Yeah.
Because some of the bands that we've been on tour with, oh my God, they're like tanks, but like we'll be on the entire tour. They've been 5 pints deep every single night, like especially when we were on tour with the UK bands. So 5 pints every single night,
Crazy,
and they're
crazy.
just okay performing like that, and we were all just like, what?
One night I had 2 pints. The next day I had a headache. I'm like, how? I'm like, I'm not even. I'm 20. Like, I'm in my 20s. Like, why does it hurt to have 2 beers? Like, I just have a low tolerance, and I've never for all of that, and I get headaches easy. But still, I thought it was like how I'm such a not rocker. Like, I feel like I'm like I would be the worst member of Motley Crue. Like, it wouldn't even work.
Red lipstick and she tastes like coffee.
Get started on TikTok.
Now.
Now.
If we all just
every
danced in front of our
single
phones
day.
in 2020, like we would all just, it would be a better world, you know? Like if we were all just less embarrassed in 2019 or whatever, who knows?
I had actually heard this advice before going out on my first tour, and I think it was my dad who told me. He was like, make sure when you go out there that you really just slow everything down and take it in, and like just be aware of everything going on. You know, try not to look past it and let things speed up and just get it done. And so, I mean, I would say that to anyone, that you need to go out there and just take it in on all these tours, because they fly by. I mean,
they do.
They may seem like they're long, like a month out on the road, you know, doing 20, 25 shows, but man, it flies by if you don't take a step back and really soak it in. So.
It's a blur. Some nights I don't even remember anymore.
Yeah,
it's just
it's
like,
so
and like we said, we're sober. We don't do anything, and it's just, you get on stage. Sometimes you go into like straight up autopilot mode, and you're doing it, and then it's done. It's gone. It's like, wow, best night of my life. But
because you're in the van more often, and then you're like on stage for 30, 40 minutes, and then you remember the bar and or venue or club that you're in for a few hours beforehand, and it's just interesting. So like definitely you got to soak it all in. And that's why it's nice to sometimes make sure you do see a little bit more from these places than just like the venue and your bus. Try to like see something of it that makes you remember, and take photos, because like we take photos in front of like gigantic large
objects
all the time, or mountains, just to see. And it's nice to actually be like, oh, I remember this. Like if not, it would just be gone. That's also why I think I want to say that I also like, you know, when fans come up to us and they I mean, of course they could be shy or whatever, but when people say what they want to say and they act their hearts out, and sometimes we've gotten amazing experiences when people were just funny, they joked with us, they some people we had weird experiences with, some people were very just appreciative or whatever, and then we remember that, and that helps us remember things sometimes more about these shows. Yeah, so like I really do appreciate when some fans really get some good heart-to-heart moments with us, and like you get to just experience them as well as like everything else. It makes us remember like the tour better.
Worth dying for. Cigarettes and sexy, she's getting good at smoking.
Oh, this is a tough one.
Have we argued? I mean, we've argued.
We've had disagreements, but I don't think we've argued.
The love runs that deep.
Yeah.
It does.
It does.
I'm trying to just think of what happened with me. Like there has to be.
There has to be something.
I know one. I know that one where Gabe got really mad. Because one show we had said, oh hey, we're gonna throw shirts out. Right? And Gabe hid one for himself.
I wanted to just throw one shirt, man. I just wanted to.
And Adam comes out from behind the drum set, grabs the shirt.
He got excited. Like everyone took 2 shirts for themselves. I think he got like a few. And then I was like ready, and I was waiting for the end because I was gonna see like who earned it. Like who in the whole set while I was playing just like vibe with me, was giving me the most energy, and who I wanted to be like, you're into this, here's a free shirt. And I turn around and they're all gone. I just see Adam like, another one. Just like Oprah Winfrey, just giving away free shit, man. And I'm just like, I was peeved. I was like, no way, come on. Like I just wanted one. What made me feel like a wiener too was the very next show. I'm pretty sure it was the very next show. We had to get rid of like 40 shirts. So on stage we had a box, and every like bit I'd play, every time I had a moment I'd grab a shirt, just toss it.
You got to throw out.
So I felt really stupid for being mad before, because I got like 40 shirts to throw the next day. But
there's a bunch of very well dressed people in Prague. Let's just say that.
No, we couldn't make it back to the U.S. because we had too many shirts to fit in our luggage. So we had to get rid of them.
Yeah, because we had ordered like shirts. So like when we got to Europe, like the shirts were there waiting for us. So that's why we didn't have that problem going there.
Yeah,
just coming back, and we were all just like, man, are we really just gonna throw away all these shirts? Like, how are we gonna do this? And then we were just like, you know what? Prague's gonna remember us.
Yeah, I'll just remember it, you know. I would just like, you know, trick shot it. I would throw it up. I would throw it under my leg. I would like hike it like a football. Like we would just do whatever we could just to make it.
Yeah, I accidentally pelted a bunch of people like in the face, like oop. I was like,
Yeah,
oh
that's-
shit,
I
I'm
saw
sorry.
that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, sometimes the music, you're not in it totally for the money. I mean, it helps. It helps because food
Money
costs
helps.
but you know, it's one of those things where like we're really hoping that if it could sustain us, it's great, but it's really also for the experience that we get. Like now, I'm never gonna forget that night. You
Yeah.
know, like,
That's what
and hopefully neither will they.
Yeah.
And especially because for the rest of the night, they had to watch 2 more sets, and they were just all holding their shirts. Like, God damn it! Like they had all these shirts. Everyone just.
She keeps me up like cocaine. The naked texts.
Yes.
I think.
Oh, come on! You don't tell me
writing-
you want to write some more like I said, we want a song with a 4 on the floor because we want like a little more energy. Like there's
Yeah,
some
true.
songs I just want to write that are hype.
I think it's actually like the new music though from the album that inspired our live performance.
It's
now.
true.
Yeah, I think
But
it's
now
the
it's
It's
opposite.
kind of like the
Gonna-
opposite.
It's now gonna do, but now it's obviously gonna.
But now it's going to
inspire us.
redo.
Yeah.
It's going to do
Yeah.
exactly what you described.
Some people don't realize that, and they should try it. Like people just want to dog on like popular music, and they just want to talk bad about some rock this and metal that, even if it's very simple playing and it's not like complicated or anything. Like John and I came from progressive metal. Will plays extremely complicated stuff. He's very good, but there's something just very therapeutic about writing something simple and fun and energetic and driving, because it's just if you feel so alive when you play, and people should try it more because it's very fun. Obviously, I think it's inspired us to perform this way, but it'll obviously inspire our music going forward. It should. I love that song. That song
Yeah,
is that song is so fun.
That's such a bop. Yeah.
Right?
No,
Yeah.
I love all our music. But yeah, for us, definitely, like we've seen the reactions. We've only been playing like the new songs because I mean, like I said, we only joined the band like two years ago, Will 3 years ago. So this body of work that we just recorded, it's us. And the previous stuff is less us. So that also shaped into the song choices, the writing, everything moving forward. And we just have so much fun playing this music live that it's probably we're going to be like, all right, we're going to write more like this
So much fun.
later on.
So much
And of course, we took little notes. We're like, okay, they like this one a little more. They like this one a little more. We want something with like a feel change. And also touring with other bands and watching them perform their songs and seeing what works for them also like kind of influenced a bit of the direction, because dude, Des Rocks was one of the best performers like ever. Like we've seen him and we've seen the kind of songs that
He's
he was
amazing.
doing, and it's very like Gabe said, driving 4 on the floor. Dun, dun, dun. And we were just all sitting there. It's like, hey, we don't have a song like that. We don't have a song where the whole crowd just like goes along at that point. It was like, definitely for the next album or any extras that we end up writing one of them is gonna have that, just because of the experience that we had with Des Rocks.
Yeah.
We're nerds for music. We love the composition of stuff, and we love like guitar solos and you know, there was a time where I could not get Will to make a song shorter than 4 minutes because he's like, no, I love the music.
Yeah, I
I like
Gotta
the music.
breathe. It's gotta
It's gotta
evolve.
breathe. But you know, attention spans. Like you do have to pivot with the times, but don't sacrifice your artistic integrity
Yeah,
like
yourself.
completely.
No, yeah, and obviously there's something to say about like we're trying to make a career out of this. We're trying to stand out, and sometimes you need to just do what like you can do best to stand out in your own way. That's still like, you know, you still have your musicianship, your soul in it. But obviously, like, you know, Sleep Token blows up, and they're clearly in a place where they can be more experimental. They can make a 7-minute song and see how it works, and clearly, if it's very good, people are still going to listen to it. So I do have a hope that like later on, you know, with more expanded, longer albums with a little more different tracks, like our singles will clearly sound like singles. We'll have some interludes. We'll have some entrances and different things. You know, different bands should try and be more artistic and weird here and there. You know.
Won't stop calling. I'm just being honest.
So
That's
collab
the
on your
answer.
album, maybe?
so we had an entire demo album written, and then our manager at the time went, scrap it, y'all are going to LA, I want you to get the full experience, you're going to work with these 2 producers, you're going to do 4 with this one and 4 with this one. So we walk in first day, not knowing at all what to expect. And we walk into our first producer's studio. His name's Jason Mader, and he's got another guy there with him, Seth Rieger, who's a writer. And the two of them together just helped pull everything that we didn't expect that we were going to do. Because since we're late additions to the band, we had a preconceived notion of what the band sounded like and what it needed to sound like. So the music that we wrote was essentially going to be Ascension Part 2, like the first album, like the follow-up to the first album. But then we get to LA and we're all sitting and they're like, what did you have in mind? What did you want to write? And Adam's like, Adam in very Adam fashion. This guy's like Luffy. If you watch any One Piece, he's just like, he has his eyes set on the goal. He's like, we want to be the biggest band in the world. And like, of course, we're all like, I can't believe he just said that. I can't believe he just said that. I don't want to be here. He's like, and they both look at each other. They're like, all right, we can do that. We can do that. But we're going to have to play in on each of your individual strengths. And that's how we created an album with music and songs that literally it's part of each and every one of our music from inside, you know. Yeah. It has Will's influence, it has my influence, it has Dave's influence, and it's not tied to the old music. It has these pop punky bangers, and it has, you know, the riffs with like a poppy chorus or like a ballad here and there, and it just pulls out a piece of us.
Yeah. You know, it has
Beautiful.
Modern production, which I'm always like super about. You know, I always think that like second rock started incorporating more of this stuff, it just became like so interesting. And I love that we've been able to do that through the new work.
I seriously have to give all the credit in the world to those guys that we worked with. Jason
and Ray
Mader,
Garrison, that was
Seth
second
no
producer.
way any of this music would be what it is.
Yeah.
And we're just tremendously thankful.
And like now that
we
now that we know we can do that now, like we can't wait to work more and like come back and like with the idea, because we didn't know that was possible, and then we came out thinking, oh my god, I didn't know that was like something we could do together. And now since we know, we're so excited to come back and do more.
Yeah, because stuff's already like, for all of us, is coming out of the woodwork. It's like, oh wow, this is on ourselves. So now it's just, you have the electronic production coming out, you have like different sounds, different moods, and it's just it unlocked our musical potential, so to say. This is the Pistols at Dawn album. We're actually independent right now. We were with a label. We were with Megaforce Records for the longest, but at one point we ended up deciding, okay, we're moving in a different direction. Megaforce, very metal focused, of course, like has had people like Anthrax and Metallica on it. So we are currently just looking. We have a great team that's pushing us and putting opportunities in front of us. There's names being floated around for us. Honestly, we can do a lot independent. A lot of the stuff that we're doing is just independent, and we're in a very fortunate position to be able to do that. I think in this day and age, like I said, TikTok, get on TikTok. TikTok is the great equalizer, because that's what the things that record labels look at, like your socials. A lot of the times TikToks translate to streams. I'm looking at bands like Jutes. You had not enough space on here. They blew up because of TikTok. I mean, you have your Sleep Theory, and it's such
Benson
a crazy Benson Boone. It's such a crazy ecosystem that is like blowing all these bands up. A lot of the times labels are great for like budget wise, but since we have the album already, it's kind of like, okay, what else could you give us? You know, so that's what we're looking out for. I think you, before you know how the industry works, you shouldn't even consider a label, because a label is a bank. A label is going to lend you money and expect it to be paid back. Like, if they can't offer you a really good deal with distribution, you're kind of just losing the rights to your song, and you risk getting shelved. And like, if they have, because some labels will do that, like you'll be an artist that is direct competition for one of their artists, and you're starting to do well, and they're like, oh, this is competition for my artist. I'm going to offer them a deal, and I'm going to shelve their stuff. And then, okay, why'd I join the label? You know? And if you can get your TikTok growing on itself, if you can get your Instagrams, your everything up, I won't say Facebook, but then again, at the same time, it's still important because it's still an ecosystem that people use. But if you can get yourself in front of people, that's the best way to do it. And you got to find a way to make it translate to your streams, translate to your revenue building aspects. And yeah.
The big show
We
coming
want to
up.
talk about last week.
Oh, last week? What do you mean last week?
We did, besides shows, we had some very important things we did last week. That'd be really cool and could be really exciting.
My brain's drawing a blank.
Bro,
What are you
we
talking about?
were in the studio. Told you guys, it's an
Oh
action.
my God! It's
Only what we did first.
Only what we did first. Sorry. That whole week, we woke up at
It was a
4:30
blur.
a.m.
It was a lot.
We woke up at 4:30 a.m. in Atlanta, flew to LA, went from the airport to the studio, recorded all day, Will's parts, Gabe's parts, and my parts. And the next day, we had our very first feature that we've ever done. And she recorded all of her parts, and then Adam, our drummer, recorded his parts. And then from there, we went to our show at the Viper Room, performed, slept, and then the next day drove to Las Vegas to do our next show. But yes, that's an exciting thing that's coming up. We have a really big show coming up with Dorothy in Los Angeles. We're playing the El Rey Theater on March 21st, and there's going to be a special guest appearance by the man in the top hat himself, Mr. Slash, which we're all very, very excited for.
Yeah.
We're in the works. More singles are definitely coming soon-ish. Yeah, definitely, possibly an album this year. And then, what else, boys? Am I missing
Well,
something?
I guess the fact that it's cool. I mean,
Top
yes, our first feature. The fact that it's a cover that no one is going to expect because
Is it?
even we didn't know what the song was, but we slowly, we were shown this song by Adam. He was like, this is the song we're going to have to cover, work it. And we're like, what? How would that? But then us sitting on it, digesting, listening to this song over and over again, we came with this really cool cover. It's going to have our first feature. It's going to be very cool. And it might be our, one of the next singles we release. So I'm very excited.
Thanks for
so much
having
for
us.
having us.
Yeah, it was great.
Seriously.
Anyone tuning in, we are Pistols at Dawn. We are on all the socials. We are Pistols at Dawn official. Check out our profiles, check out our personal stuff. I'd like to think we're funny. We put skits and bits out like every day, and it has a little bit of flavor of each of our different personalities. And come see us at a show. This is music, performing music. That's literally, we needed more than breathing. And yeah.
Pistols are down.
The world turning us